Hi, I'm Pastor Tim. Here's another grain of Cybersalt for your world. I'm on the roof of Cybersalt World Headquarters, where over my right shoulder you can see the Strait of Juan de Fuca, now also known as the Salish Sea, and in the haze, the Olympic Peninsula of Washington State, home of Olympic National Park. A couple of months ago, Susan, our friends Harold and Valerie, and I got up at the crack of dawn, even though dawn hadn't yet shown any sign of cracking, drove downtown to Victoria, and caught the Coho ferry over to Port Angeles. After we got off the ferry, it was just a short drive to Olympic National Park and the 17-mile drive up to Hurricane Ridge. Hurricane Ridge is a beautiful spot. It's about 5,000 feet above sea level, depending on where you're hiking. It features beautiful alpine meadows, panoramic vistas of the Olympic Mountains, wildlife, and trails for hiking. Now, I'm not a big fan of hiking, but they've got short trails, little trails that you can just walk up to see a different perspective on things, and they also have longer trails and comfortable places where you can sit and film your wife while she walks along one of those longer trails that you don't want to take. By far my favorite thing to do at Hurricane Ridge is to look back across the strait to see if I can see my house. I'll even admit to being distracted from the scenery over there, trying to see what I can see here. I think that's a very common experience for us, that attraction of home and wanting to see it when we're away from it. Whether we're flying out of a city that we live in or we're flying into a city that we live in, we're looking out the window of that plane trying to see our house, trying to see where we live. Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 to 21, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven where moth and rust do not destroy and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." I think Jesus, in that part of his Sermon on the Mount, is acknowledging not only the attraction of home, but also the distraction of home. Home being where we have our treasures stored. Home being where our heart is really upon. As followers of Jesus, it's important for us to remember that he's called us to live not for this life, but for the next life. And what he's pointing out is that if we have all of the worthwhile and all of the treasures and all the things that we love the most and spend all of our time building up our lives for this life, then that's just a waste of time. Moths will eat up what we've got. Thieves might come and take what we've got. And we're also not going to have anything treasure-wise in heaven. Even if we manage to keep moths from eating our treasures or prevented robbers from stealing them, they're still going to end when this world ends. And then what will we be left with? Nothing from this world. And we'll have wasted so much time and energy investing in the treasures of this world, being distracted in our hearts by them, that we won't have been doing much to store up treasures in heaven. But we know that God is faithful, and everything that we offer up to him, all that he's given us, our houses, our homes, our skills, our abilities, our intellect, our mind, our gifts, our money, that if we trust them to him, he is faithful and he'll keep them. And he'll empower us and help us to do his work. And by doing that, we'll have great treasures in heaven where nothing is going to eat them up, where they're not going to rust, where thieves are not going to steal them, because God himself is taking care of them, everything that we've entrusted to him. And then heaven will become the distraction of our hearts, not this world, but heaven. Everything that we do, we'll do with perspective on where we're going to spend eternity, and where we've already got incredible things planned and stored for us by the grace of God, who loves us so much. I hope that thought adds flavor to your world today. God bless you. the Olympic Peninsula of Washington State, home to Olympic National Park. 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 And in the haze, Olympic National Park on the what's that? Yes, please. I'll have a chicken burger and a hot dog. Thank you. I love you. With a wife like that, I would never live in the corner of a rooftop. And flying into the city where we live, or taking off out of the city where we live. Maybe even just traveling over the city. All right. Ramble, ramble, ramble. That he will not only take what he's, Hey, look. I can see my house from up here.